just wish he knew. Just wish he knew.
Here we are again. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Battle Tactics and War Strategies with a Ninja. Let's fucking go. Today, I have some shit. Oh, actually, in all relevance to what's happening in the world now, I feel like going over this part of the Roman civil wars is slightly more relevant than Caesar's war, even though we established that many events can be correlated to events happening today. Just set up a couple of things here, then we'll get started. How you doing, Caldy? How you doing, Dano? Welcome in. Welcome in. All right. The War of Actium with Octavian. If I can figure this shit out here. There we go. Look at that. Bam! Hey, check that shit out. Oh, man, there he is. The war involved some of the largest Roman armies ever seen. Both Antony and Octavian's legions were experienced veterans of previous civil wars who had fought together, also many having served under Caesar. The two did, however, raise their own legions separately. Following the end of the war, Octavian brought peace to the Roman state that had been plagued by a century of civil wars, marking the beginning of Pax Romana, a period of relative internal peace and stability. Octavian became the most powerful man in the Roman world, and the Senate bestowed upon him the honorific of Augustus in 27 BC. Octavian, now Augustus, became the first Roman emperor and transformed the Republic into the Roman Empire. Like a legend. Let's fucking go. Doing good. Let's drink and hear about the best civil war ever. I'm telling you. Fucking telling you. This is one of my favorite, history stories of all time. The war between Octavian. Sorry. That's his sister. His sister is Octavia. Octavian and these two douchebags. Mark Antony and Cleopatra. Mark Antony was in Egypt with Cleopatra instead of his wife, Octavia. I have a picture of her, too. Let me find that. Octavia, where you at? No, that's not Octavia. This is Octavia. Yeah. Let's be real. Italian women look better than Egyptian women. I don't know what the hell Mark Antony was thinking. But, what the hell? Octavian was scheming to find a way to sever ties with Mark Antony. Yeah, Mark Antony. Let's go back to this legendary guy, because we're going to talk about him for a minute. Octavian. Start a war to crush him, kill a potential rival, and take control of the entire Roman world. He did this by cleverly exposing Antony's will to the Senate, where he read out how Antony had left all his money to his children by Cleopatra, where they would reign as monarchs over kingdoms that he and Cleopatra would leave them. Romans were scandalized by this type of behavior. Then Antony divorced Octavia to marry Cleopatra. Octavian convinced the Senate via propaganda campaign. Let's think about that for a second. Octavian went to the Senate, right? He was like, hey, this guy's a fucking douchebag, and I'm going to tell you why. and led an entire propaganda campaign. Now, it's funny, because these aren't from his propaganda campaign, but I thought I'd throw them in there because it's, relative to the kind of shit we see nowadays. It's no different. There's always been propaganda campaigns throughout history. We can do it. When you ride alone. Yeah, that's a shocking one. Are you kidding me? Like, that is actually kind of hilarious. That is fucking hilarious. I'm like dying with the level that people will go to when it comes to propaganda. We all know the famous one. Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam. At any rate. Octavian convinced the Senate via a propaganda campaign to start a war against Cleopatra since they were reluctant to declare war on Antony, as he was a true Roman, and the last thing Octavian or the Senate needed was mutiny. Eventually, Octavian chased Antony's senatorial supporters from Rome, and in 32 BC, the Roman Senate declared war against Cleopatra. The Caesarians, Octavian, Antony, and Marcus Lepidus. Marcus Lepidus. Under the second triumvirate had stepped in to fill the power vacuum caused by Julius Caesar's assassination. I want to point something out before we continue. All the senators and conspirators thought that that would be such a good idea, to do, that they would garner so much public support. There were senators that weren't involved and people that weren't involved picking up daggers and gladiuses and claiming to have been involved in it whilst walking down the street with gladiators and shit. It was wild. The public was like, fuck you guys, we don't like what? And the public hated it. They hated it because after years and years and years of Roman civil wars, Caesar finally brings this time of peace, albeit short-lived. Still brought a time of peace. And swiftly ended by a group of a-holes who couldn't get over themselves. Unfortunate. After the triumvirate had defeated Marcus Janius Brutus and Gaius Cassius Longinus at the Battle of Philippi in 42 BC, and Lepidus was expelled from the triumvirate in 36 BC. Octavian and Antony were left as the two most powerful men in the Roman world. This weird-looking mother... and his Giga Chad opponent, Octavian. Ha! Ah! Octavian took control of the West, including Hispania, Gaul, Italia itself, and Africa. Antony received control of the East, including Graecia, Asia, Syria, and Egyptus. For a time, Rome had peace. Octavian put down revolts in the West while Antony reorganized the East. However, the peace was short-lived. Antony had been having an affair with the Queen of Egypt, Cleopatra. Romans, especially Octavian, took note of Antony's actions. Since 40 BC, Antony had been married to Octavia Minor. The sister of Octavian. Octavian seized the opportunity and had his minister Gaius Maecenas. Gaius Maecenas. I think I have a picture of him too. Somewhere around here, right? Yeah, Gaius Maecenas. Look at that angry-looking motherfucker right there. Damn. For a time, Rome had peace. but it's but it's Rome. So yeah, exactly. But it's Rome. So, welcome in, Shane. How you doing? How you doing? Octavian seized opportunity and had his minister Gaius Maecenas produce a propaganda campaign against Antony. There's that propaganda campaign again. All kinds of propaganda going around everywhere. Nearly all Romans felt astonished when they heard of word of Antony's donations of Alexandria. In these donations, Antony ceded much of Rome's territory in the east to Cleopatra. Cleopatra and Caesarion were crowned co-rulers of Egypt and Cyprus. Alexander Helios was crowned ruler of Armenia, Media, and Parthia. I think I have pictures of these guys. Could be wrong. Nope, that's Cleopatra's bust. Nobody wants to see that. That's not him either. So many pictures to go through. Holy shit. Maybe not. And maybe not. Oh well, it is what it is. Cleopatra Selene II was crowned ruler of Cyrenaica and Libya, and Ptolemy Philadelphus was crowned ruler of Phoenicia, Syria, and Cilicia. Cleopatra took the title of Queen of Kings, and Caesarion took the title of King of Kings. Caesarion was her son, with Caesar. Which means that Mark Antony is getting cucked something fierce. Which is hilarious. Let's put it, this is what the face of the ultimate cuck in history looks like. Just so you guys know. This face right here. There it is. May not be super high def, but you get the point. In response, Octavian increased the personal attacks against Antony, but the Senate and people of Rome were not convinced. Octavian's chance came when Antony married Cleopatra in 32 BC before he divorced Octavia. That action, combined with the information that Antony was planning to establish a second Senate in Alexandria, created the perfect environment for Octavian to strip Antony of his power. Octavian summoned the Senate again and accused Antony of anti-Roman sentiments. Octavian had illegally seized Antony's will from the Temple of Vesta. In it, Antony recognized Caesarion as Caesar's legal heir, left his possessions to his children by Cleopatra, and finally indicated his desire to be buried with Cleopatra in Alexandria instead of Rome. Cuccus extremis. Yes! Oh, man. Shane with the W. Cuccus extremis. Oh, man. I'm gonna love the Wild West of this chat. Like, y'all are fucking awesome. The only thing I ask, you can say whatever you want, just don't do no crybaby bullshit in my chat. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. Just have a little bit of mental fortitude. Don't let some words hurt your feelers. You know what I mean? Sweet. Glad we got that out there. The senators were not moved by Caesarion or Antony's children, but his desire to be buried outside Rome invoked the Senate's rage. Octavian blamed Cleopatra, not Antony. The Senate declared war on Cleopatra, and Octavian knew that Antony would come to her aid. Yep. If that was a chessboard, it was like checkmate. Gotcha, bitch. Right where I want you. When Cleopatra received word that Rome had declared war, Antony threw his support to Egypt. Immediately, the Senate stripped Antony of all official power and labeled him an outlaw and a traitor. However, 40% of the Senate, along with both consuls, sided with Antony and left Rome for Greece. Octavian gathered all of his legions, numbering almost 200,000 Roman legionaries. Cleopatra and Antony did so too, assembling roughly the same number in mixed heavy Roman and light Egyptian infantry. Massive. Massive. But Rome does too many wars and stuff. That's as far as I go. There are no war crimes, etc., etc. Oh shit. Sorry. It's spelled Canadian. All right. Yep, know where this guy is. I know where this dude is. By mid-31 BC, Antony maneuvered his army into Greece, and Octavian soon followed. Octavian brought with him his chief military advisor and closest friend, Marcus Vespanius Agrippa. Dude looks fucking solid. He's pissed. To command his naval forces. Although the ground forces were comparable, Octavian's fleet was superior in number. Antony's fleet was made up of large vessels, but with inexperienced crews and commanders. Octavian's fleet of smaller, more maneuverable vessels was filled with experienced sailors. Octavian moved his soldiers across the Adriatic Sea to confront Antony near Actium. Meanwhile, Agrippa disrupted Antony's supply lines with the navy. Gaius Sosius commanded a squadron in Antony's fleet, with which he managed to defeat the squadron of Lucius Arentus and put it to flight. But when the latter was reinforced by Agrippa, Sosius's ally, Tarchon Demotus the king of Cilicia. I tried to look for a picture of that guy, and all I could find were pictures of coins. Was killed, and Sosius himself was forced to flee. Octavian decided not to attack and risk unnecessary losses. Instead, Octavian wanted to battle Antony by sea, where his experienced sailors could dominate. In response, Antony and Octavian engaged in a Fabian strategy until the time was right. As the summer ended and autumn began to set in, both Octavian and Antony settled for a battle of attrition. So for those of you who don't know what a battle of attrition is, attrition warfare, right? So basically, attrition warfare is, it's like a military strategy trying to wear down the enemy to a point of collapse, right? It's like, I'm gonna force you to just give up because you're fucking tired. $200 make me want to just pass out in the car? Find an affordable hotel room in Nashville. Well, listen to this. There are zero. Damn it. You say you're Haitian in spirit. Take over someone's house. Fortunately, people in Nashville can fight back or just squat where I'm seeing a band. $200 plus is making me want to just pass out in the car. Yeah, I feel that. I've done that several times. Just passed out in my car. Now, whether or not that's legal in that state, I have no idea. I just know it's not in California. Shit. So basically, attrition warfare is military strategy consisting of a belligerent attempts to win war by wearing down the enemy through continuous losses in personnel, material, and morale. It's basically what I said. Make you give up because you're exhausted. Exhausted of all resources. Strategy of delay paid dividends to Octavian as morale sank and prominent Romans deserted Antony's cause. However, despite this, Antony was still able to maintain loyalty of his legions, because he still had money. The first conflict of the war occurred when Octavian's general Agrippa captured the Greek city and naval port of Methone. The city had previously been loyal to Antony. Well, they were probably loyal to Antony because everybody was on meth. It's Methone. Oh, the city. The fighting had been brutal, but in the end, Agrippa's hit-and-run tactics were successful. On the contrary, Antony's veteran cavalry won most of the skirmishes on land. Although Antony was an experienced soldier, he did not understand naval combat, which led to his downfall. Antony moved his fleet to Actium, where Octavian's navy and army had taken camp. The stage was set for one of the largest naval battles of all time, with Antony bringing 290 ships in addition to between 30 and 50 transports. Octavian had 350 ships. Antony's ships were much larger and better armed, in what would become known as the Battle of Actium. Antony, on September 2nd, 31 BC, moved his large Kinkaremes, that's one of their ships, through the strait and into the open sea. There, Octavian's light and maneuverable Liburnian ships drew in battle formation against Antony's warships. Cleopatra stayed behind Antony's line on her royal barge. A devastating blow to Antony's forces came when one of Antony's former generals delivered Antony's battle plan to Octavian. What a dick! Get double-crossed! Ha! That's hilarious. May I do it? These rates are insane. I could imagine. It's like Ukraine versus Russia? Yeah. Basically. Antony had hoped to use his biggest ships to drive back Agrippa's wing on the north end of his line. But Octavian's entire fleet stayed carefully out of range. Shortly after midday, Antony was forced to extend his line out from the protection of shore, and then finally engage the enemy. Octavian's fleet, armed with better trained and fresher crews, made quick work of Antony's larger and less experienced navy. Octavian soldiers had spent years fighting in Roman naval combat, where one objective was to ram the enemy ship and at the same time kill the above-deck crew with a shower of arrows and catapult-launched stones large enough to decapitate a man. As the armies stood on either side of the naval battle, they watched as Antony was being outmatched by Agrippa. Seeing that the battle was going against Antony, Cleopatra decided to follow Antony's original orders and took her squadron of ships and tried to penetrate Octavian's center. As a gap opened in Agrippa's blockade, she funneled through. Antony then issued orders for his entire fleet to break through Octavian's lines. Antony led this breakthrough, and his spearhead was able to penetrate Octavian's center. However, shortly after Antony's breakthrough, Agrippa ordered his flanks to attack the rest of Antony's ships from both sides in a pincer formation. Get him! Get him! Agrippa was a beast commander and thinker? Yes, he was. Agrippa was the shit. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't fucking around. Like, let's go back to what his face is real quick. With a face like this, hold on, that's not Agrippa. That's not him. With a face like this, can you really be, you know, like, come on. Come on. Ha. Crazy shit. Antony and Cleopatra could only watch on helplessly as their fleet, once the largest in Roman history, was destroyed. The couple was forced to take their remaining 90 ships and retreat to Alexandria. Upon seeing the destruction of Antony's fleet, his legions decided that they would try and meet up with him. However, after losing control of the sea, supplies for Antony's legions ran thin. His supplies done runned thin because he fled for Alexandria. The poor guy. All of this tacticus retreatus, as Shane would call it. Tacticus retreatus to Alexandria. Agrippa, we need more Agrippas. He's why I asked for the series? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, he's the shit, man. He is definitely the shit. Definitely made a name for himself in early sea warfare. Like early sea warfare. This is not like Napoleonic age or, you know, the English Empire type fucking sea warfare. This is like early ass sea warfare. When you think of the word pioneer, that is literally what this guy was, in every sense of the word. After a week of the commanders of Antony's land forces, which were supposed to follow him to Asia, promptly surrendered their legions without a fight. By the end of the day, Antony's entire fleet lay at the bottom of the sea, and the Roman world witnessed the largest naval battle in almost 200 years. I'm going to reread some of that. Antony's entire fleet lay at the bottom of the sea by the end of the day. Agrippa's wit in that naval battle was fucking unmatched. Unmatched. Wild. Even though Octavian wanted to immediately pursue Antony and Cleopatra, many of his veterans wanted to retire and return to private life. Octavian allowed many of his longest-serving veterans, as many as 10 legions by some account, to retire. Many of those legionaries could trace their service to Julius Caesar some 20 years earlier. That's part of the reason Octavian kinda just gets the cake. These guys are seriously experienced. They were in Gaul, they like Caesar's civil wars, like holy. Talk about battle hardened. It's like Agrippa knew how the winds would blow. You know, there's actually, okay, so it's funny that you say that, because there's actually a couple of accounts that, like, Agrippa would sit there with a cloth on a stick and kind of, like, see how the wind was in the morning and, like, test it. He did, like, actual scientific experiments with, like, a cloth and a stick. Can't remember where. It was a documentary. I'm going to have to find the link, and then I'll post it in my Discord. Or I'll send it to you on, or through Discord. And then fucking, yeah, you can watch that little segment, because it's actually really interesting. It goes into, like, his, like, mental philosophy and how he strategized. It was, like, different than most people. When you talk, or when you think about how wars were fought in Rome, they were very, like, rigid and done a very specific way, right? They had their formations, they had their tactics, they had their very rigid way of doing war. And Agrippa kind of realized that. And he was able to remove himself from that kind of linear thinking, which gave him an advantage, a serious advantage, because he was able to think of different strategies that didn't necessarily align with Roman warfare, but they were effective nonetheless. Oh yeah, he studied. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. After winter ended, Octavian resumed the hunt. In 30 BC, Octavian rejected the idea of transporting his army across the sea and attacking Alexandria directly, and instead traveled by land through Asia. Antony had received much of his backing from Rome's client kingdoms in the east. By marching his armies by land, Octavian ensured Antony could not regroup and cement his authority over the provinces. The majority of Antony's army, 23 legions plus 15,000 cavalry, had been left in Greece after Actium, where eventually, without supplies, they surrendered. Meanwhile, Antony attempted to secure an army in Cyrenaica. I have a terrible time pronouncing that name. From Lucius Pinarius. Unfortunately for Antony, Pinarius had switched his loyalty to Octavian. Oh, the double cross. When Octavian received word of this deployment, he ordered Pinarius to move his 4 legions east towards Alexandria, where Octavian would move west. Trapped in Egypt, with the remnant of their former army, Antony and Cleopatra bided their time awaiting Octavian's arrival. Yeah, y'all are fucked now. They're coming. They're coming for you. When Octavian and Pinarius arrived at Alexandria, they placed the entire city under siege. Before Octavian had arrived, Antony took roughly 30,000 soldiers he had left and attacked Pinarius, unaware that he was outnumbered 2-1. Pinarius destroyed what was left of Antony's army, with Antony escaping back to Alexandria before Octavian arrived. As Octavian approached with his legions, what remained of Antony's cavalry and fleet surrendered to him. Most of the remainder of Antony's infantry surrendered without any engagement. At this stage of conflict, and Antony's cause was lost. Antony was forced to watch as his army and hopes of dominance in Rome were handed to Octavian. In honorable Roman tradition, Antony, on the 1st of August 30 BC, fell on his sword. According to the ancient accounts, however, he was not entirely successful, with an open wound in his belly, and was taken to join Cleopatra, who had fled to her mausoleum. Here Antony succumbed to his wound and supposedly died in his lover's arms, leaving her alone to face Octavian. Yup. But let's rewind a little bit here, right? Back in the propaganda stages of all of this, Antony's original wife, Octavia, Octavian's sister, Antony's original wife, played a huge role in spreading propaganda about her fucking husband, or at least soon to be, and then shortly afterwards, after their divorce was announced, ex-husband. She played a huge role in the shit-talking that went on about Mark Antony and spreading lies. Like, she lied about all kinds of shit about Mark Antony to just random people in the streets to spread rumors so the public would hate this guy. Like, dude. Kinda W Octavia, but at the same time, like, dang. I mean, the family that she comes from, you kinda had to see it coming, right? I mean, she's your opposition sister. Did you really think that was gonna go well for you? No. No, it was not, sir. It was not. Unfortunate. Women, am I right? Hilarious. On another note, where the hell you at? Cleopatra. I like the Egyptian art better. Cleopatra did not immediately follow Antony in suicide. Instead, in a final effort, Cleopatra opened negotiations with Octavian. Cleopatra begged Octavian to spare Caesarion's life in exchange for a willing imprisonment. Octavian refused. Within a week, Octavian informed Cleopatra that she was to play a role in Octavian's triumph back in Rome. This role was carefully explained to her while Caesarion was butchered without compunction. Well, I mean, Octavia, 304, but what a 304. Well, was she though? I mean, she got married young, and for what it's worth and what I understand, she did her duties as a wife. Mark Antony was just a super simp. And it extreme, like, Mark Antony was like the Bevo of fucking ancient Rome, dude. Like, Mark Antony was, he was just low tier. Low tier. And Cleopatra was the, like, OG 304. She had kids from Ptolemy. She had kids from Caesar. I think she had a kid with Antony. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I'm like, dang, dude. Cleopatra was running around. Oh my god, imagine Bevo in a Roman garb trying to lead an army. Serious. Was it her or Augustus' sister I'm thinking of? No, you're thinking of Cleopatra. Augustus' sister is Octavia. Octavia was Antony's original wife. Obviously, they were married for, like, power reasons. As, like, a sign of, I'm not going to stab you in the back like a dick because now I'm your brother-in-law kind of thing. But Mark Antony, being a low-tier guy, decided he was going to give up half of the empire to fucking Cleopatra because he's a simp. That's what I mean. Look, literally. Look at all this land. This is how much land he was going to give up to Cleopatra out of this much land. That is literally half. That is half of the empire. She was going to give up to Cleopatra because, oh, I love you. I'm in Louvre. Oh, Cleopatra. I want you to poop on my chest. Just poop on my chest, Cleopatra. I will give you half empire, you poop on my chest. Ah, damn it. Failure. But Cleo had that opium. There was a family member of Augustus he had to pull off the streets. Yeah, because he was... There's a couple of family members of Augustus that were questionable, right? But Octavia was, like... She helped him a lot. She was one of his, like, best supporters. As far as women go, like, I can't find an L other than, you know what I mean? She kind of naggy. That's how her personality was described. She was kind of assertive and naggy. So imagine like a ancient times boss babe. Right? That was Octavia. She was an ancient times boss babe. Not as bad as a straight up 304 like Cleopatra, but still like questionable. Damn it. Alright, where was I at? Octavian supposedly said 2 Caesars are 1 too many as he ordered Caesarion's death. Well, I mean, gotta do what you gotta do, right? Can't be having this guy try and come back and usurp power from you when he gets older. Just saying. It's typically how the power, the holding on to and assurance of power generally happens throughout history. It's pretty dark, but it is a very, very common occurrence. And I think it's pretty easy to understand why. There's always going to be a life of resentment. That boy's going to grow up and your kingdom will end. Because eventually there will come a point where he now outclasses you in fitness and strength. There was someone in his family that went full freak. Yeah. She was probably wore hoop earrings. I wouldn't doubt it. Either that or a big old hoop necklace. She probably had a weird walk, too. According to Strabo, who was alive at the time of the event. Yeah, Strabo, he was probably old as fuck by then. Shit. He was probably an old guy, according to Strabo. Who was alive at the time of the event. Cleopatra died from a self-induced bite from a venomous snake, or from applying a poisonous ointment to herself. Learning of Cleopatra's death, Octavian had mixed feelings. He admired the bravery of Cleopatra and gave her and Antony a public military funeral in Rome. The funeral was grand, and a few of Antony's legions marched alongside the tomb. A day of mourning throughout Rome was enacted. This was partially due to Octavian's respect for Antony, and partly because it further helped show Roman people how benevolent Octavian was. Not only that, right? Not only but it also is positive PR. Let's be honest. It's just positive PR. It looks good to the people, so you kind of have to do it. As they left Alexandria, a new age dawned when Rome annexed Egypt. With Cleopatra's death, the final war of the Republic was over. Within a month, Octavian was named Pharaoh, and Egypt became his personal possession. By executing Antony's supporters, Octavian finally brought a century of civil war to a close. 27 BC, Octavian was named Augustus by the Senate and given unprecedented powers. Octavian, now Augustus, transformed the Republic into the Roman Empire, ruling it as the first Roman emperor. Like a legend, let's go! You'll look into it? Alright. I was going to, because we're about to finish this up, and then I was going to get into Agrippa for a second. Yeah, we're going to focus on a couple of people in this one. Going a little in-depth here. In the ensuing months and years, Augustus passed a series of laws while outwardly preserving the appearance of the Republic, made its position within it a paramount power and authority. He laid the foundations for what is now called the Roman Empire. From then on, the Roman state would be ruled by princeps. In modern terms, rule would from now on be ruled by emperors. The Senate ostensibly still had power and authority over certain senatorial provinces, but the critical border provinces such as Syria, Egypt, and Gaul, requiring greater numbers of legions, would be directly ruled by Augustus and succeeding emperors. With the end of the last Republican Civil War, the Republic was replaced by the Empire. The The reign of Augustus would usher in the golden era of Roman culture and produce a stability which Rome had not seen in over a century. Fucking totalitarian dictatorship for the win. The Republic was falling, and Augustus saved it. I kind of want to point that out, because look what's happening in the West today. Maybe we need an Augustus. We need a totalitarian dictator to make things right. To just put his foot down and be like, this is the law, bitches. This is what we're doing, and this is the direction we're going in. Stop running around and fraying out of fucking crazy nonsense. It's time to bring stability back into the world. At any rate, with Rome in control of the entire Mediterranean world, a peace would reign in the Roman world for centuries after the death of Augustus. The so-called Pax Romana, or Roman peace. 3 of the Roman emperors in the first century, Caligula, Claudius, and Nero, were direct descendants of Antony. Well. Wouldn't you know it? The empire that Augustus established would last in Western Europe until the fall of Rome in the 5th century AD. The eastern part of Roman Empire would also survive as the Byzantine Empire until the fall of Constantinople in AD 1453. Yes. Wild. Alright, where are you at, sir? Let me find you so we can get into your shit. Alright, used the wrong guy last time. This face right here is the face of a legend. Agrippa. Marcus Vespasianus Agrippa was a Roman general, statesman, and architect who was a close friend, son-in-law, and lieutenant to the Roman Emperor Augustus. Agrippa is well known for his important military victories, notably the Battle of Actium in 31 BC against the forces of Mark Antony and Cleopatra. He was also responsible for the construction of some of the most notable buildings of his era, including the original Pantheon, the legend. Born to a plebeian family in 63 BC, in an uncertain location in Roman Italy, he met the future Emperor Augustus, then known as Octavian, at Apollonia in Illyria. Following the assassination of Octavian's great-uncle Julius Caesar in 44 BC, Octavian returned to Italy. Around this time, Agrippa was elected tribune of the plebes. He served as a military commander, fighting alongside Octavian and Caesar's former general and right-hand man Mark Antony in Battle of the Philippi. In 40 BC, he was praetor urbanus and played a major role in the Perusine War against Lucius Antonius and Fulvia, respectively the brother and wife of Mark Antony. Damn, how many wives did Mark Antony have? Like 5? Holy shit. 39 or 38 BC, Agrippa was appointed to governor of Transalpine Gaul. 38 BC, put down a rising of Aquitanians and fought the Germanic tribes. He was consul for 37 BC, well below the usual minimum age of 43. to oversee the preparations for warfare against Sextus Pompey, who had cut off grain shipments to Rome. Agrippa defeated Pompey in the Battle of Mylae and Nalochus in 36 BC, and in 33 BC served as curule aedile. Agrippa commanded the victorious Octavian's fleet at the Battle of Actium in 31 BC. A few years after the victory at Actium, Octavian became emperor and took the title of princeps, while Agrippa remained as his close friend and lieutenant. Agrippa assisted Augustus in making Rome a city of marble. Agrippa renovated aqueducts to provide Rome citizens with from every social class to the highest quality public services, and was responsible for the creation of many baths, porticos, and gardens. He was also awarded powers almost as great as those of Augustus. He had veto power over the acts of the Senate and the power to present laws for approval by the people. He died in 12 BC at the age of 50 or 51. Augustus honored his memory with a magnificent funeral and spent over a month in mourning. His remains were placed in the Augustus's own mausoleum. Agrippa was also known as a writer, especially on geography. Under his supervision, Julius Caesar designed of having a complete survey of the empire was made accomplished. From the materials at hand, he constructed a circular chart which was engraved on a marble by Augustus afterwards, placed in a colonnade built by his sister, Vespania Pola. Agrippa was also husband to Julia the Elder, who had later married the second emperor Tiberius, and was the maternal grandfather of Caligula, the maternal great-grandfather of the Emperor Nero. Dang. Yeah, Agrippa was a legend. That dude knew hella shit. Wasn't just a master at naval warfare. He genuinely was a man of the people. All he wanted to do was see a more glorified Rome. A better, greater Rome. One that was not only amazing to live in, but wonderful to look at. It was very artistic. That was crazy how they were like, okay, bitch, you with him now, right? Ah, shit. That's awesome. But there it is. That's both civil wars. Both civil wars completed. I like the second one better. It's a lot of double crossing that goes on. Going back to the propaganda campaign, right? There's a lot of double crossing. Because it wasn't just Octavian that was spreading propaganda. Like Mark Antony and Cleopatra were spreading propaganda in Egypt in reverse to Octavian's propaganda campaign. So it was like, if you want to correlate it to what's going on today, it's literally like left versus right, Democrat versus Republican kind of thing, right? It's very similar. The various different styles of propaganda that were used, like leaflets and fucking shit like that. You know, little fucking random drawings or fucking art pieces that were kind of like back in the day, caricatures, I guess. They were kind of like roasts, but artistic roasts. And then random street slander. It's crazy. They were all up in each other's business. The amount of it must have been hard being a Roman citizen back then. Because the amount of lies he would have had to sift through to know even just a little bit of truth about either one of these guys, depending on which society you lived in at the time, whether it be Egypt or whether it be Rome or Italy, right? But you have on one side a whole bunch of propaganda pointing against Mark Antony, and you have his supporters who are like, no, that's all wrong. That's all wrong. And then at the same time, those same supporters would unfortunately oftentimes leak other information that would be exaggerated. Ah, man. They had the town caller was paid off. What a weird time. Almost like, I'm telling you, dude. I'm fucking telling you. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of shit. Like, these are not new problems in humanity. Nor are they problems that only exist in one specific type of government or one specific type of societal structure. They appear everywhere. Everywhere. There's always one thing. Whoever's in power is gonna try and put out as much propaganda against the opposition as they can to continue to have the level of public support that keeps them in power. And so what I mean by that is basically everything you see today, everything, think about it. All the algorithms, ads on TV, it's all over the place. Newspapers, shit, you'll see it on billboards or on the side of fucking buses. A lot of the times people are a part of it. They're a part of the propaganda and they don't even know. It's part of the reason I kind of jokingly made Ninja Pill a thing. It's like, you have red pill and blue pill and purple pill and black pill. You know what my brain sees? After having studied about wars and all kinds of other shit pretty much my whole life. My brain looks at that and goes, that's a whole lot of propaganda as division. Let's give these people who need something to do a reason to fight with each other. That way they're not fighting with us. They're too busy with each other. They can't see what we're doing. Right? That's one of the things, actually, that Agrippa knew. It's part of the reason he was so successful and had so much public support. Everybody liked this guy. He was not disliked by very many people, if any people at all. He was a true man for the people. And so was Octavian, for what it's worth. Like, Octavian Augustus, he was fucking a man of the people as well. Two very, very good leaders in history. And what I mean by pointing that out is, a lot of times we hear in the news today, oh, it's a threat to democracy. It's a threat to democracy. That's all I fucking hear when these fucking fuckheads do that shit. It's all propaganda. Who gives a shit? Many times in history that there were civilizations that weren't a democracy and they were actually fantastic. How long did Pax Romana last? Let's find out. The Pax Romana, Latin for Roman peace, is a roughly 200-year-long period of Roman history, which is identified as the golden age of increased and sustained Roman imperialism, relative peace and order, prosperous stability, hegemonic power, and regional expansion. Just gonna throw that out there. Now, obviously, there was some shit that went on, right? During the Pax Romana, there was random little wars and little shit, little conflicts, right? There was no major wars or major conflicts. For the most part, people were comfortable, like they are today in Western society. You didn't really have to worry about anything too much. And when that lasted for too long, people got too comfortable. You get a bad leader, and they'd turn everything to shit. That could happen in any government structure. It doesn't just have to be an empire. We've seen that many times in history as well. You get a bad leader and your stuff goes to shit. So I implore you all, anybody who watches this or anybody in my chat currently, to really consider, really take in and consider who you're voting for as president of the United States of America. Because when shit hits the fan, and it hits the fan hard, it does not take long for stuff to collapse and chaos to ensue. So, really put some thought into it. Don't just treat it like it's something else to be, tossed aside. We want more people like this. Mr. Agrippa or Octavian in power. We want more people like that, right? Modern day, a person that I know of in the public eye that I would be able to relate to as probably someone who is as morally good, if not slightly morally better, would be someone like Andrew Wilson. Now, I know he's never going to run for a position of power, so he says. But I think we all know who the better option of the two candidates currently are that are running. Choose wisely. I think me and you see this pretty much the same. Yeah. I mean, no, Caldy, when you requested this, I was like, dude, shoutouts to you, you fucking legend. Because this is probably, out of all of the episodes I've done with, like, Gulf War, even though that, kind of relates to what happens because we kind of just pulled out of Afghanistan, right? So, Gulf War, I went over that. But that was the first Gulf War, not the second one. Not the one that just ended. That was the first one. George Bush Sr., not George Bush Jr., right? Not good old Georgie Bush Jr. But, like, this is really relevant. The story we just went over is pertinent. Because there's a lot of correlative between the two. Current day and back then. And what was happening back then? The fall of the Republic and the ushering in of an empire. Now, was that for the benefit? Yeah, absolutely. Right? But there was still that initial fall of the Republic. There was 100 years of like whole ass 100 years of civil wars prior to that. And if you think about it, we haven't quite even hit that stage yet. So it can still get worse if we don't collectively come together and make it, make it better. And that means we're going to have to fight the division. We're going to have to notice the propaganda as it's being tossed in our face and force-fed down our throats. See it for what it is, reject it, and create that better world that we all want to live in. Starting with one who liked cigars and BJs, followed up by another who ignored security briefings. Seriously. Difference though, when Rome fell, there wasn't a China to invade while the chaos was going on. Shane, you're not wrong. And I don't think China is the only country that would capitalize on that. I think there's many of them to the south that would love. Many of them just to the south that would absolutely love it if the United States went full Rome. And that's why I think it's imperative. It's part of the reason I started this series. So I can hopefully combat even a little bit against the division going on. Shed some light on all of the shadowy propaganda that everybody's blinded by. Point out correlatives and things that make sense so that people have a better understanding of the political, or rather I guess it would be a political war landscape, right? Because that's technically what's going on. It's what's been going on for a long time. It hasn't stopped. One of the reasons that I advocate for a totalitarian dictatorship is because when there's not one definitive leader, right? And we have a president, right? But if our president had unprecedented power, could not be vetoed, could not be stopped, could not be controlled in any way, shape, or form by a Senate or a House, we'd be able to get a lot more done. Instead, we have a group of people bickering and fighting in a power vacuum. And what ends up happening is you have these people fighting over credit for the things that have gone well. Most of the time, that didn't have anything to do with them. I'm talking about the government. House and Senate representatives, etc. Doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you're on either. This is true for both sides. There's just a gap in the power vacuum. There's a power vacuum, right? And it's a perpetual power vacuum when you don't have one definitive leader. Now, does that create a sort of balance? Kind of. In a way, having the triad that we have creates a sense of balance. But I think it's a false sense of balance. So there's too much room for shadowy figures to be in charge. Create a conspiracy, and yes, I'm talking about an actual conspiracy, not some wild conspiracy theory. For all intensive purposes, the literal definition of the word fucking conspiracy, right? in the background, and you don't even know who it is or what's going on. In a dictatorship, you know exactly who the asshole is, right? You know exactly who the asshole is. But just to throw this out there, the definition for the word conspire from Oxford Dictionary is make secret plans jointly to commit an unlawful or harmful act. Just throwing that out there. You couldn't convince me that human beings don't do shit like that. We go to war. I mean, hell, Shane, did we not discuss this the other night? They were snipping buddies. They were castrating people. Could you imagine? Like, you can't... It's a balance between credit whores. Yeah, little Aid had to finish working on my mom's truck. She dropped it off this morning. Well, cleaner. We finished off the War of Actrium, so you're going to have to go back and rewatch it. But you're welcome to throw in any input. Any input that you would like, because we're currently talking about how it maps. So how Octavian's war with Mark Antony and Octavia, like how all the propaganda and all that bullshit goes into it, right? The conspiracies and stuff like that were happening, how all that kind of maps onto what's happening today currently in the United States of fucking America, right? Like, so what you had was the fall of the Roman Republic, okay? Which ushered in the Roman Empire, which led to Pax Romana, 200 years of peace, right? And maybe not total peace, but majority peace, right? We're talking people were living good times. It's the same shit happening now. Yeah, it is. But I did point out that we're not quite to the Caesar stage yet, right? We're not quite to the 100 years of civil war. And I don't think that in today's day and age, it would take 100 years. I think that even our own previous civil war took longer than one would take today. And I don't think it would be fought in the same way. I think it would be all psychological and biological, which is a scary thought to think because technology has progressed to a point where, A, we already know how to control the weather. We know this. We seeded clouds over fucking Vietnam. You don't think the technology on that has increased since then? Like, we made it rain on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Back in Nam, we were creating clouds and dropping rain on them damn commies. Boy, ain't broke out yet? Yeah, everything happens at accelerated pace due to tech now. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm, part of the reason I'm doing this whole series, Cleaner, is because fucking I don't want people to fall for the propaganda. I don't want people to fall for the bullshit, and I want them to truly think when they go to make a decision, right? So for all of the people out there that are, undecided on who to vote for as president, really truly think about the future. Truly think about the weight of your decision. Because due to technology, shit could hit the fan really, really, really fast. And in the position we're in right now with China and Russia, right? And then as far as all of the South American countries, not too happy and would love us to have a fucking conflict too. We're in kind of a shitty situation, right? Strategically. We're kind of backed into a wall. Thankfully, this is fucking America. And there never has been quite a nation like ours ever. We're like Sparta 2.0 with guns. Because we have more guns in America than the rest of the world has collectively. That being said, we are in America. We the people have done the shit before. We the people have given tyrannical dicks the middle finger before. And we the people can do it again. We can take our country back. And we can make shit maybe not right, but we can certainly do away with a lot of the degen bullshit that's harming society. Because we all know the repercussions. We have thousands of years of history to back it up. We all know where it's headed. And we all equally have the opportunity to change that direction and course. And in that's why I come to you guys and do this. So that I can do at least a little bit to help move our society as a Western society as a whole, not just the United States of America, but as a Western society as a whole, to a more productive, stronger, more intelligent, and more efficient future, where the people aren't tyrannically enslaved and the government has their fist up everyone's asshole all the time. You don't vote for sex workers? Yeah, me either. How long is the Spanish Civil War? The Spanish Civil War was almost 3 years. Yeah, I agree with you. Vote Kamala. Oh, Jesus. I don't vote for sex. What Damien is saying is basically what we say before dinner in Mississippi. Look at that. That's a long-ass dinner prayer, bro, right? Seriously, the food's already cold by now. It's Mississippi. We talk long and in poems. Ah, shit. That's fucking fun. You know what? I think I have something for that. Hold on. I think I have something for this.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Oh, shit. Dude, I'm gonna be real. I fucking loved this guy. Not because, you know, for whatever other reason, other than he was funny as fuck. Bush Jr. was hilarious. I'll give you some more examples. Hold on.
Just seems like I was here yesterday. I was. Kinda.
There's no way. Oh my god, dude. You bought into him too? He said some awesome shit, really. No, he totally did, dude. I love Bushisms, man.
Our enemies are innovative and resourceful. And so are we. They never stop thinking about new ways to harm our country and our people, and neither do we.
No, look, Caldy. It's not that he wasn't based, because some of the shit he said was really based, and I think his heart was in the right place. He was just blasted on coke all the time. And so it made him hilarious to listen to, especially as a political leader. Like,
I think tide turning, see, as I remember, I was raised in the desert, but tides kind of turn. It's easy to see a tide turn. Did I say those words?
he's the reason the Secret Service GPS, he would lose them on his bike. That's hilarious. At least he was honest. No kidding.
Single mother with 2 children, which is the toughest job in America as far as I'm concerned. And you're working hard to put food on your family. Who could have possibly envisioned an election in Iraq at this point in history? Now, there may be some tough times here in America, but this country's gone through tough times before. And
we're gonna do it again. Ah! Oh, holy shit, dude. He had a tube in his sleeve that went right to a coke bag in his pants. Yep. I'm telling you, dude. That dude was fucking funny as shit, man. Holy crap. Out of all the presidents that have been president in my lifetime, George Bush Jr. is by far my favorite. Like, don't get me wrong. Donald Trump is not a bad president. He was not a bad president in the least. I enjoyed when he was in office. Hell, I started my parkour business when he was in office, right? You know what? Let's do this. I started this business when when Trump was in office. This one right here, hold on.
Face to face, I found my pain beneath the lies and broken dreams. Lost the love I had in me. It tore me apart, fade away. I felt so lost, but I held on to what I had. For what it's worth, if you're feeling low, just know that you can. Yes, you can. Life in love that you hold. Rise above and let it glow. Just know that it's never too late to...
So basically, yeah, I teach people how to do parkour and free running, right? Doing it for fucking years. For a long ass time. This is what a real ninja looks like. Just throwing that out there for those of you who don't know. This right here, this is what a real ninja looks like. Just throwing that out there. God, put me in a fucking coliseum. Anyways, so I started that business. That was pretty cool. Yeah, that's my PKFRX intro. I wasn't going to play the whole thing because it's long as fuck. And it's not the appropriate stream for that. However, I started that business when Trump was in office. There's no way I would have been able to do that under the Obama administration. Shit was fucking, like, prices were terrible. I lived in Southern California for most of it. It was fucking ass. Ugh. The Obama administration, like, literally. Then I moved out of California in 2016. Moved to Arizona. Well, holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Was the amount of, like, ability to get shit done a million times. Like, a millionfold better than living in California under Biden's fucking shit. Or not Biden, sorry. Obama's shit economy. And you'll hear people on the left, oh, Obama's economy was good, it was good. No, it fucking wasn't. Oh, well, the bad parts were, they were Osama. Barack Barry Satoro, you mean? Really? Is that really his real name? The fuck? Never moved to Arizona? I did that once? Dude, I grew up in Arizona. I fucking love Arizona. That's my home. Graduated high school in Arizona. Like, I fucking love Arizona, man. I was born in Illinois, and my parents moved to Arizona when I was like 4 or 5, and I spent probably the majority of my life in Arizona other than California, right? Arizona and California, southern west coast, southwest area of the United States is where I've spent the vast portion of my life. Only has it been the last 3 years that I've lived in the middle of this country. And this last year has been fucking torture. Oh my God, it's been torture. I mean that in the lightest way. Don't get me wrong. I like living out in the middle of the country, right? People out here are generally pretty nice. They're not stuck-up assholes. They're pretty based. A lot of them are conservative Christians. It's the fucking allergies and the goddamn humidity that I cannot stand. When it's 98 degrees outside and feels like 119 because it's 74% humidity. And no matter where you go, if you're not standing in front of a literal AC generating lukewarm air because it's that damn humid and hot, I hate that. Couple that with the worst hay fever you could possibly imagine, and now you're sneezing constantly. And you're itchy constantly, whilst being overheated all the time. I just can't stand it. I want to go back to the desert where it's nice and dry. And even if it's 120 degrees outside, if you go in the shade, it's only 97. Where temperatures actually change. His dad was Pakistani, his mom was Hawaiian. Well. Yeah. You want to know something funny about that cleaner? About that whole Barack Obama thing? He won against John McCain. Now, if you remember the left, if you go back in time just ever so slightly, and you remember the left, what did they used to say about John McCain? He's too old. He was a POW. He's too old. He can't be in power. He'll die before his presidency is over. He's too old, goddammit. The entire time Biden has been running for office, I've been like, isn't he too old? Y'all pushed that shit on fucking McCain back in the day and said he was too old, and now you're pushing for this geriatric dude who needs his diaper changed. He can't follow a straight line to save his life, falls up the stairs in defiance of gravity like he's some kind of fucking ninja by proxy. Dude is older than sliced bread. And you're trying to tell me John McCain was too old? Oh my God. That's what I mean. Propaganda, man. It's only whatever serves them at whatever time is necessary, right? It's funny, because, like, in regards to the alphabet community, right? Rainbow Nut Friends. They're just pawns. And they don't even realize that they're pawns of the left. Like, that's the fucking crazy part. They're just pawns. Sympathy is the easiest propaganda card to play to gain mass support really, really quickly. Now, over time, yes, people will eventually see through the bullshit. But They are being used as fucking pawns. They don't even see it because they're too fucking ignorant. I don't know what to tell them. I do know what to tell my conservative friends, though. Don't do the same. Not that the Conservative Party in this country does that to the same degree. They still do push their own propaganda. Barry Jr., Barack Jr., born in Haiti. Motherfucker wasn't even American. Don't you have to be an American, born in America, to be American, to be president of the United States? Am I wrong on that, Cleaner? Am I fucking wrong on this? Because if I'm... He is an American because his mom was... But he's only 6% black? Yeah, I knew he wasn't black. I knew he was Arab. Or some shit. Like, more Middle Eastern than black. I knew that. You can tell by his name, Barack Obama. Barack Hussein Obama. If I'm not mistaken. Just have to be born of one American parent to be an American? Really? I thought you had to be born on American soil or an American military base if you're in a foreign country. I didn't know that. To actually be like a true American, a true born American. Huh. Guess I was wrong. I was under the impression that you had to be born on American soil or at least on a military base. An American military base. To be considered an American, worthy of being like a future president. You can't just be born in some other country and have only one American parent. Like, I don't know. I didn't understand that was the case. Interesting. Thank you for that little bit of information, Cleaner. You're a smart dude. Nope. Am soil if parents aren't American or born of at least one American parent. Huh. Well, that's pretty fucking wild. Alright, well, I guess he kinda got it by default then, didn't he? Which is annoying as shit. Because that's where half the loyalty in the government went. Just straight out the window. I want to point something out. The left doesn't do this anymore. If you'll notice, they used to do it all the time. Both sides used to do the same exact thing. Go watch old presidential debates. Go watch old addresses to the nation, blah, blah, blah. Right? The left doesn't do the same thing that the right does. So Donald Trump's campaign was Make America Great Again. Strategic brilliance. Strategic brilliance. He recognized through Obama's entire presidency, not once in good faith did he genuinely address the American public as his fellow Americans. I know it's annoying as shit. The part I didn't like was that he claimed to be African American, but he wasn't. Even the 6% black was not descended from Africa. Yeah, seriously. That's what I'm saying. So not in one time in good faith did this man address the American public. Nor did he address the American public as my fellow Americans. While he may have said that, it wasn't in good faith, right? Earlier presidents, you can watch it. Watch their body language. Watch what they're talking about. Watch what they do, right? And then you can look back on their actions and obviously tell whether or not they were fucking full of shit or whether they were genuinely trying to do for the people, right? But the left does not care about the public at all. And they don't even try to hide it anymore. They don't even try to hide it. So then you have conservatives that are like, make America great again. We the people. My fellow Americans. Now you guys have it all wrong. Be born or wherever. Real talk. Talk real goods. Walk real goods. Make friend with Hollywood Oprah. And man that sings name boss. Win power. Yes. Yes. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't Kamala Harris, isn't she like Indian and some other shit? And not like Native American Indian? Like she's not fucking... She's not black either, but claims to be black or play the black card, right? Interesting. People do some wild shit. Indian and Somalian, zero black heritage, exactly. And however, they use their fucking propagandist bullshit, right? The sympathy card. To create massive amounts of division. And then claim that they're gonna fix it. They're gonna make it better with this policy and that policy. Only to assert more power over who? You the people. Why? Well, I'm gonna pit a fight against these two children just so I can punish them. That's how the left treats the public. I'm going to instigate a fight between these two children, and then I'm gonna punish them for fighting. Fucking wild. But it's an effective tactic to usurp power from the people. To keep them blind, because if they all start to see that their liberties are being taken to a point where they're basically living in subjugation, well, I don't care who you are, what position of power you're in, or how many people you command under you. We have 300 plus million American citizens who all love their freedom. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm not gonna let anybody take mine. I do what the fuck I want, when the fuck I want. Regardless. I don't care. Nobody can fucking stop me either. Like, seriously, it just so happens to be that what I want to do actually benefits the greater proportion of my own species. Right? All human beings as a whole. Fortunately, for everybody on the planet, that's what I want to do with my life. And so I do it. Based, bro. Noon's talking Texas freedom earlier. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Freedom! I had a bald eagle that used to land on my property a year and a half ago. And, he used to fly up and just literally just land on my power lines from time to time. And I made eye contact with him one time, and I was just like, you know what, dude? I'm gonna call you Freedom. Now, I know bald eagles don't sound like they do in the cinema. They make this weird little screeching sound that's actually really annoying. The sound you hear in the cinema is a red-tailed hawk, which are actually really badass. And if you have a fucking... If you ever have the ability to have a red-tailed hawk, right? I highly recommend it. Easiest rabbit hunting you'll ever do in your life. Easiest rabbit hunting you'll ever do in your life. All you gotta do is give them the first one. Every one after that, they'll hunt down for you. They're rare to see, though, man. Yeah, they're scary sounding sometimes. I don't know, I like them. It's ravens and crows that you gotta watch out for. They're smart. And if you disrespect them, they hold grudges. They get pissed. They'll peck your eyes out. But if you befriend them and you feed them all the time, they'll bring you shiny shit, so it's a give and take relationship with crows. They're cool. But yeah, shoutouts to Caldy for bringing that up. What does the chat want to go over next time? Caldy said something about the Spanish War, I think. Right? Spanish Civil War? 3 years? Grackles 2? Grackles destroy the bird's nest? Yeah. Dude, falcons are the shit. Alright? Peregrine falcons are the shit. I don't care what anybody says. There's one time in my life I've seen nature just be mind-blowingly badass, and I scared the shit out of my coworker. So, I used to do landscaping when I lived in California. It's probably 19 years old at the time, right? Maybe a little bit after 20. Either way, early 20s, late teens, used to do landscaping for a couple years. And, I was doing landscaping for this, entryway to a gated community. So there's this slope that goes up that shows the big old sign and name of the gated community, and the slope has all these flowered plants on it and shit. And we had to go once a week and trowel through all the plants and pull all the weeds and fucking, water it and whatever else. Check the sprinkler system, etc. And a lot of hawks taken down by shit guns out here. Yep, them damn old shit guns. Now, I knew what you meant. Shot, not shit. That's fucking funny. Yeah, hawks don't last long out here. Farmers hate their asses. COVID brought them back. Yeah, I don't know, man. I like the hawks. They keep the shit out of my fucking yard, right? My dogs, for what it's worth, keep everything else out. If deers come roaming on my property, they end up in my freezer. But all the other little shit, I don't want them tracking ticks everywhere and shit, dude. Man, I hate ticks. Fuck, I hate ticks. God, it's the worst creation in the entire universe is a fucking tick. Oh, I hate ticks. To the max, I fucking hate ticks. I have a, undying... Just... If there's one thing I could remove from planet Earth, it kills me, because I really just want to say feminism, but god damn it, I can't help it. I would have to say ticks. I would have to say just get rid of all the ticks. Everywhere. No more ticks. Saw a hawk hunting cats once. That's awesome. Hell yeah. Anyways, so I was landscaping this fucking slope. And I was taking a break, sitting in the shade. I think I was eating some fucking McDonald's or some shit. My coworker Jerry's sitting next to me, and he's fucking eating some Mexican food. We're just kind of looking up in the sky. And, I don't know what the hell he was doing, because he wasn't paying attention to what I was paying attention to, but I was watching a couple of, I think they were hawks. Something was, floating around. They were either hawks or vultures or some kind of bigger bird was just floating around off in the distance, circling. And out of the corner of my eye, I see this blur. And then all of a sudden, before I could recognize what the blur was, you just see an explosion of feathers. And you're like, oh shit. And then you, your vision kind of focuses in, you realize what's going on, and you see another bird flying away with what is now just a, lumped over looking fluff. And you're like, oh, that was a falcon. That falcon punched him right out of the air and then caught him. That was oh shit, that was awesome. It's probably the most badass nature shit I've ever seen in my life. Live action in front of me. Was a falcon take out like a vulture or a hawk or something, just midair. Boom! I was like, oh my god. The explosion of feathers was wild. Looked like he got taken out by like anti-air artillery or some shit, dude. This is crazy. Fuck. Ah, man. Yeah, falcons are fucking cool. Falcon was hunting. Yeah. Yes, that was a falcon hunting vultures. They're known for that down there in Texas? Really? I didn't know they were known for that. That's why I was tripping out. I was like, holy shit. Took out the bigger bird, because falcons aren't really that big. Definitely not as big as some of the vultures and like California condors that are over there, dude. Those are some big ass birds. And to be able to fly away with it too, like that was wild. It wasn't like he was like gaining air or anything. He was obviously like slowly going down. He wasn't flying. He was like, ah, shit, this is really heavy. But he still maintained a relative amount of lift, so he didn't fall out of the sky with it. I just thought it was fucking cool. You got two stories like that? Early summer, a hawk took out a smaller bird from a tree about 30 feet from you. 13-ish years ago, coming back from work, and an owl smoked and tore a rat in half on the side of the road. Dang. I've only seen owls, like, just before they take flight, and then they're flying off, right? I hear them all the time. There's one that lives up in the tree right at the edge of my property. He just fucking screams bloody murder. The noise owls make is fucking... It's a scary noise if you've never heard it before. Like, especially... Because you can listen to it on YouTube and it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, that's kind of eerie. But no, like, out in the wild, they're loud. They are really, really loud. And the shit just echoes and bounces off all the trees. So it's like this screeching sound. Holy shit. Yep, there's two breeds that go after vultures hardcore. They'll ride their bodies to the ground if they can't fly off with them on an air kill. That's pretty badass. Saw a chihuahua run up on a hawk. Dog back down super fast. Bird went full wingspan with the hiss. Yeah, dude. Birds don't fucking play. Never got to see an owl kill. Me neither. But we got screech owls and barn owls around here? Yeah. You think you have my next topic? Birds. Let's talk. I mean, shit, dude. We could talk about birds on Aviation Paddle for sure. I could do a whole birds matched with aviation design shit because most aviation designs were based off of birds. I mean, look at the F-35. It looks like a Falcon in dive. Look at a Falcon in dive. Side profile. Look at a side profile of an F-35 and tell me that that does not look extremely similar. My parents have a family of albino owls they can't get rid of because they're protected. Yeah, I'm not trying to get rid of the owls on my property. I think they're fucking cool. Just the first time I'd ever heard an owl screech. It scared the shit out of me. And not like, oh god, I'm scared, I'm gonna run away. It like startled me. It's like, oh shit, what the fuck was that? Holy crap. Fucking owl? Jesus. The screech owls are annoying as fuck. Like 3 or 4 a.m., one lands perfectly silent on the roof and then suddenly sounds like someone's dying on the roof. Literally. You're out there at fucking 2 in the morning and it's just fucking... I can't even do it. It's the fucking craziest, loud, like, gnarliest screech ever. Digs into your ears, too, because it's fucking loud. Listening to it online or a sound clip of it doesn't do it any justice. It hits a very specific tone. Live action. Well, they have chickens and a few roosters, and the owls killed one of the roosters and is trying to kill another, so they wanted to stop it. But they can't kill the owls. Damn it. Well, if one of their animals kills the owls, they didn't kill it. Nature did. Ha ha! Get a falcon. Get a red-tailed hawk. That'll take care of it. What can you do? Oops, sorry. An eagle moved in. Ah, my bad. Shit. Yeah, that's a bummer. They can't take him out because I have chickens, but the owl doesn't try to eat my chickens. My chickens are fucking massive. 1, 2, they can hide underneath all the little buildings I have inside this, like, enclosed gated area where my greenhouse and shit is. You may suggest that, yeah. Because, like, they don't have to... What you could do is... You don't have to have a falconry license to have a falcon live on your property. You have to have a falconry license to do falconry with that falcon, right? You can obtain a falcon or a red-tailed hawk. Insider scoop here. You can obtain a falcon, red-tailed hawk, whatever, right? And then feed it on your property. And as long as you continually feed it and it knows where its guaranteed food source is, it's going to come back. Will it be caged? No. Will it be technically your owl or your eagle or your falcon or your hawk or whatever? No. It's free to roam wherever it wants. It can leave at any time. I just throw some food out there for it. It's not mine. I don't claim it at all. But you're feeding it. Well, yeah. Just like I feed the fucking pigeons at the park. Right? I feed the pigeons at the park. I might as well feed the eagle in my yard. These owls are huge, like 5-foot wing. Yeah, most owls are huge. You'd be surprised, like barn owls are fucking large. They look teeny on camera. All owls look teeny on camera, but they're actually pretty big. There's only a couple of species of owls that are actually, like, small. Oh, that's pretty cool. Didn't know they'd just stick around from... Well, yeah, I mean... You gotta think about it. Like, they're still wild animals. So they're gonna go where the food is, right? Yeah, yes, they can hunt. But do they like to hunt? Would they prefer to hunt over having guaranteed easy food? Especially, that helps them in the mating game. Right? So if they're out there flying around free flight, but they know where the food source is and they know where to get it every time, they'll come back for the food, they'll nest up in your tree, and they'll make babies. And one of those babies will come back yearly and repeat the same process, as long as you keep putting food out there, right? You can kind of, if you know how nature works, and how, like, wild animals work, you can kind of get them to do what you want. You can almost manipulate them into fucking doing this or that. I don't like this style of hunting, but there are people who will put salt blocks out for deer, and they just take out the deer while it's standing there licking the salt block. Oh, and then once they nest, it's a known area for that lineage. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Nature's real easy to kind of circumvent and do whatever you want to with. Do I agree with it? Not necessarily. I think if you're going to hunt or do something like that, you should probably do it the way nature intended it to, right? Actually go do the hunt instead of throwing a fucking salt block out. Oh, yep. Oh, look, there's 5 deer on my property. Let me just pick one. Fucking. I'm not gonna call it cheating because it's a part of the game, right? If it's a part of the game, it's not fucking cheating. It's just some crybaby shit. But that's just like, in my opinion, you're foregoing a level of your manly dignity doing that shit, man. Oh, I'll take whatever comes easy. I didn't have to work for it. Man, some of the best things, in fact, all of the best things in life come from working towards them. Think about it. All of the best things. Now you prefer tracking deer down, bow hunter? That's what I'm fucking talking about. What kind of bow do you use, cleaner? Got me a fucking... I think it's a 80-pound recurve. 80 pounds of draw. And then I have a 6-foot longbow. With, I think, 100 and something pounds of draw. I don't know, it's fucking hard. That motherfucker is hard to pull back. The 6-foot? Jesus. That one's a tough one. 110-pound dual cam compound bow. That's what I'm talking about. Getting tactical with it. Yeah, buddy. Hell yeah. I just like recurve bows, man. They're the pimpest. Love that shit. Not only do they look cool, but it's like, I don't know. I'm always off with a compound bow. I'm always off target. With a recurve bow, I'm pretty fucking accurate. You have to work out some before a season to make sure I can string an arrow. Yeah. Man, I haven't done any archery in a minute. Should probably go out and take out one of my bows and do it. Shit, man. I mess with my swords every day. But my firearms and my ranged weapons, probably not. Like, I have a blow dart gun that I haven't touched in like 3 years. Fucking a slingshot that I probably haven't touched in 3 years. A rope dart. Let's see, I have all kinds of shit, man. Fuck. I have so many weapons I can't even remember what the hell I have. That's what I get for being a martial artist my whole life. Recurve bows are supposedly really accurate, but haven't got to use one yet? Yeah. Yeah. And I made it myself. So, cleaner, check this out. You get a PVC pipe, right? You get a link. You have a 4-foot blowpipe? Yeah, no, I made it myself. So check this out. You get a PVC pipe. You get a link. Take some landscaping glue. Coat the inside of that link. Stick it on end of PVC pipe. Let it dry. While it's drying, you take some regular nails. Take a piece of paper, chop the corner so that it's like kind of like a fan looking shape. Wrap the corner around the thing and glue the fan onto the end of the fucking nail, and you have yourself a fucking blow dart gun. It's the easiest, simplest shit to make. Like, fuck, man, I've been making my own weapons for a long time. I know how to forge swords. I know how to fucking... I could machine an actual gun if I wanted to, because I understand the engineering behind how a gun works, but no. You did yours with some HVAC tube, with some shade-free fabricators, that's what I'm talking about. Ha ha! Yeah, buddy. Fuck. That's how you do it. That's how you do it, man. Shit. Hey, look. One, I got a box of like 1,000 nails. I'll never run out of ammo. Two. It's not gonna give my position away. I am a ninja after all. It's fun, man? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's good fucking times for sure. Shit. Man. So, what I was going to ask earlier is, what do you guys want to do next? The Spanish Civil War? I think that's what we agreed on, or do you want to do... Like, I wanted to get into some Napoleonic shit. I don't know about you guys, but I wanted to do some Napoleonic shit, but I'll do whatever you guys want. Chat decides. It's not my decision. Right? So if you guys want to do the Spanish Civil War, let's go. I'll do the Spanish Civil War. For sure. Napoleon? Because there's a lot of shit with Napoleon. Like, that would be a long one. Pompey? Nero? Yeah, I mean, really, we can do anything. But majority rules. So whatever y'all... Napoleon. Yeah, exactly. Napoleon. Alright, we got 2 votes for Napoleon. Let's go. Well, technically 3 if you add mine. Ha 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 ha. Ah, yes, Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon. Didn't he find the scrolls of Alexandria? Maybe. I don't know that much about Napoleon, to be completely honest with you. I know a lot about his strategies and Napoleonic warfare. I don't know much about Napoleon himself or his reign. I know he got exiled and came back twice like a legend. Came back twice. The underdog to champion king. Naples, Leon. Naples, Leon. Naples, Leon. Naples, Leon. Yeah, we'll do Napoleon next. Alright, I'll pull some Napoleon shit. We'll have a good time. Because then I can pull some more stuff too. Like, his grandson did some shit too. Same name? Yeah, I bet. Yeah, he did. He had some Midgey warrior blood. Yeah, he did. I mean, there's a whole syndrome named after the guy. Let's go. Fucking. Haha. Shit. Man. You know what I do like about this series, though? I get away with some shit, man. I get to get away with some shit because it's in a historical context. Ah, yes. I studied YouTube TOS for a second, and I was like, you know what? That's why I get away with some of the shit that I talk about. It's because it's in a historical context. It actually is accurate history. Just don't bring Josephine into it. Oh, man. A rare French warrior. It's almost an oxymoron. No kidding. He's the one French guy to just not use a white flag. There was no tacticus retreatus from Napoleon. Even though he was average height for his time. Yeah, serious. I know he was average height for his time. He's still short. Short in today's day, Shane. I mean, shit, he was actually tall. Considering some populations on the planet. Shit. That's fucking funny. Man. Alright, so next time we're gonna do Napoleon. We're gonna go through a bunch of his shit. That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna talk about the little angry man that destroyed everything and everyone. Yeah, there's a lot to go through with this shit. Holy fuck. I knew that the Napoleonic... There was a lot of Napoleonic wars, but there's a lot of fucking Napoleonic wars. Different battles and shit like that. Holy fuck. Pick one. God damn, alright. Sick. Why don't we just do them all? Fucking start to finish. Fuck it. The Napoleonic Wars. 1803 to 1815 were a series of conflicts fought between the First French Empire under Napoleon Bonaparte. 1804 to 1815. And a fluctuating array of European coalitions. The wars originated in political forces arising from French Revolution 1789 to 1799 and from the French Revolutionary Wars 1792 to 1802 and produced a period of French domination over continental Europe. The wars were categorized as 7 conflicts, 5 named after the coalitions that fought Napoleon, plus 2 named for their respective theaters. The War of the Third Coalition, War of the Fourth Coalition, War of the Fifth Coalition, War of the Sixth Coalition, War of the Seventh Coalition, the Peninsular War, and the French invasion of Russia. We all know how the invasions of Russia go throughout history. Holy shit. Man. And the revolutionary strategy of making your troops march 1.5 times faster. Yup. Russian winter. YOLO, right? Dude was like, I want a wargasm. Let's go. Which somehow fucked people up because they would think they had 3 days, but would be there in 2. Yup, exactly. Yeah, dude was a legend at cutting corners for sure. And not like in a bad way. He wasn't like cutting corners in a bad way. I mean like to gain a strategical advantage, right? He says, hey, baby, what day is it? His wife says, Tuesday. He says, nah, bitch, it's war day. It's Tuesday. Funny how fast people surrender when they're caught completely off guard. Not even kidding. They copied his strategy up till the Civil War. Do they still copy his strategy, Caldy? We still use Napoleonic tactics. Are you kidding me today? Shit. The United States government is king of Napoleonic tactics in the modern day era. Oh, man. Holy fuck. It's part of what, it's part of what separates us from the rest of the modern world. We use a lot of old shit blended with the new shit to make our shit super awesome shit. Oh, man. Yeah, I tell you. I fucking tell you. Napoleonic strategies, they're like some of the more brilliant war strategies. I mean, the guy was just a tactician from fucking day one. Yeah, they do. He is one of the most studied strategists from history, if not the most studied. Well, yeah. I mean, him and fucking Sun Tzu, who's debatably not even a real person. There's argument and dispute over whether or not Sun Tzu is actually Sun Bin, his supposed nephew. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. I know I'm not wrong on the debate about that being the case, but the debate could be wrong. He could have actually existed, could have been a Sun Tzu. I mean, shit, man. People try to deny Jesus, which is fucking mind-blowing because there's a bunch of accounts that are just not in the Bible, but still relate to Jesus. It doesn't take much research to find them either. What the fuck? No shit, I didn't know that about Sun Tzu. Yeah, he was evidently... It's argued that he wasn't even a real person. I did an episode of him in my Greatness of Men series. Because obviously you gotta go over Sun Tzu, man. He wrote The Art of fucking War. There's also a dispute on that, on whether or not The Art of War was written by several people instead of just one person. Or written by several people and then Sun Tzu is just the guy who compiled the information and put it into one book. I would argue that even if that were the case, Sun Tzu still had to have studied the material to compile it and put it into one book, thusly making him the most intelligent person in regards to war strategies at the time. And for a long time, because there was a lot of shit in there. But yeah, evidently Sun Tzu was debatably not even real. Just like Jesus. It almost seems like they try to take the best people throughout history, the people who have done relatively good shit for a massive proportion of people and mythicalize them, right? Turn them into myths, like, or fairy tales. Oh, that shit doesn't exist. And it's like, dude, literally, go do an hour. You don't even have to spend all day on this shit. Go do an hour. I guarantee you'll find a preponderance of evidence that's not Bible related that will tell you that Jesus was an actual man who existed on the face of this planet and did a bunch of crazy shit that people can't explain. Wouldn't be the first time in history. It would be the last time in history somebody has done that. Now, I'm obviously not discrediting Jesus. I'm just pointing out that there are people in history, and Jesus is probably the most obvious example of people in history who get mythicalized and fucking turned into non-existent. Oh, there's no evidence. Bullshit, there's no fucking evidence. Maybe it was like a family thing. He just put a book for the rest of the world, right? Maybe. A 20-second Google search. No kidding. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, but it's always the good guys, right? Cleaner, answer me this. It's always the good guys that fucking get mythicalized and deemed non-existent. But then the bad guys. Oh, the bad guys. They are fucking, like, immortalized. Immortalized. And I'm going to give an example of that right now. This isn't even modern day propaganda. I think this is like 50s or 60s propaganda. Okay? This is 50s or 60s fucking propaganda. They get immortalized. 50s and 60s propaganda. Whoever's deemed a bad or demonic person or, you know, whatever, whoever is deemed as an evil person just gets immortalized. While the good people get mythicalized and their existence gets denied entirely. Human beings are fucking wild to me. They just make absolutely no sense. The bad guys are real, but the good guys didn't exist, right? Exactly my point. I'm glad I'm not the only one that has made that connection either. Now you see, like, we're starting to get somewhere with this, like, point out the propaganda shit, right? Starting to get somewhere here. You can start to see where the bullshit almost becomes obvious. And you're like, really? Really? Yeah, I don't know. It's the whole reason I started this fucking series. We're going to dissolve the effect of propaganda on the greater portion of the populace as this channel grows. More and more people will be forever cured of the amalgam of bullshit that has been fed to them over time. Well, I mean, Germans are notoriously backseat driver. Well, I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, Asians are notoriously bad drivers just altogether. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, though, I think tonight was a fantastic episode. You guys had some great fucking input. I had a great fucking time. I hope y'all did too. It might take me a couple of days to compile the necessary information, and then on top of that, go through and verify it all, because I don't just Like, I don't just pull shit up and read it, right? That would be fucking ridiculous. If I was just like, oh, let me just find something and read it. That would be being subject to my own fucking propaganda that I advocate against, right? Like, no. I go through and I check different sources and I read and I read and I read. And while I'm reading, I'm listening to a fucking documentary after documentary after docu-fucking-mentary about the shit from all different angles so that I can get the full scope of information. So I can get as much detail as I possibly can, right? And I try my best to remove a lot of the TOS shit from YouTube because unfortunately there are things that happen that I can't talk about. I can get away with a lot of it. Trust me, ask Shane. He knows I can get away with a lot of it. My intro video is a testament to that. There's literally a dude that gets blown up and then it's just hands on barbed wire, right? Like, I get away with some shit. But unfortunately, I can't talk about it all. There are some war crimes that I can't get into, like mass grape, and stuff like that, right? I can't get into that kind of stuff. I will get taken down. And that would remove me from the ability to be able to provide the kind of value in tearing down propaganda veils so that, not even just myself, but everybody else may see more clearly one day the source of the problems that are in front of them. Because you can't solve anything until you find the source of it. You can try and put a band-aid on it all you want, but if you put a band-aid on rotting flesh, it's still gonna fester. It's still gonna rot. You have to address the necrotic tissue. Right? You'll be on next time? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother, next time. See you on VK and push your channel on VK. I will. Now that I have a actual for sure direction with this, like, you guys got to remember, I have 44 videos right now. If I didn't delete all of my old content, I would have almost 80 videos. But every single one of those videos had copyright strikes on them. Every single one of them had copyright strikes. So I took them all down and stopped doing the parkour review thing because it was just copyright strike after copyright strike. And then I tried to do a fitness talk, and that kept getting age restricted. I still have one video of my fitness talk that I tried to do that's still age restricted, and I keep that up and haven't deleted it to make a point that I can sit here and talk about war for hours, but I talk about fitness for 45 minutes and how to solve unnecessary pain, and it gets age restricted. You want to tell me that there's not something shady going on in the background? I don't know about that. It's a little weird to me, right? Can't talk about parkour and free running or how to make yourself or how to improve yourself, you know what I mean? Like, and give actual real facts and statistics to back it up without getting age restricted. That's crazy to me. For the Spanish Civil War, check out Spanish Bombs by The Clash. Can't play it, but it's a great song about it. Hell yeah. You're passionate about war, why not? Go for it. Fuck. Well, I mean, it's a topic a lot of people talk about too, really. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I talk about fucking... That's what I do. That's why I started this whole series. Done the Gulf War, I've done Vietnam, and now we've done the Roman Civil Wars. Kick ass. Oh, and I've done the Soviet-Afghan War too. That's another thing. It doesn't have to be. So, like, in the start of it, I kept getting requests that were U.S. related, and I was like, it doesn't have to be United States, and they don't have to be recent. Like, well, you could pick fucking ancient Sumeria, and I will go dig up the information for fucking ancient Sumer, and I will find out everything there is to know about that fucking war, and I will come back with some shit for you guys. Like, bro, I actually take to compile up all the pictures and the slideshows and stuff like that, it actually takes a considerable amount of time. And then to verify and collect all the information takes a considerable amount of time, right? So I actually do put in a lot of effort into this specific series for you guys. It'll get better as time goes on, right? I'll get a better camera. I'm not going to do away with the red light for this series, but for the aviation series, I will be using normal lighting. So there's that too. Yeah, have a good night, Caldy. I'm about to wrap it up anyways. At some point, you got to do the Rome versus Catholic Church thing. Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. The split, where Byzantine Empire. Yep. That'll be one. That will be one for sure. You see, I'll be doing this perpetually for a long time. This series is never going to go away as long as I'm on YouTube. I mean, think about it, Cleaner. Yeah, exactly. It fits for the War Talk. Not only that, I'm going to have a giant CB radio right here, so it's going to be all like, I'm going to slowly turn the background into a bunker kind of format, because the bunker still kind of works for aviation. I could just claim it's a hangar at the same time as a bunker, right? You know what I mean? So, but for the aviation one, I'm going to use normal lighting. I'm going to keep the red light for the war stuff, right? I'm going to make improvements as time goes on. But, yeah, I mean, this is going to continue to go on for perpetually ever. Oh, that'll be cool. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. So, I mean, look, this is how I look at it, Cleaner. I got my solo cup, which has some coffee and may or may not contain 3 or 4 shots of apple brandy. May or may not contain 3 or 4 shots of apple brandy. In my coffee cup. Now, I don't drink very often. Right? But there isn't a thing on this planet that's more manly than getting drunk and talking about war. You have a wonton container with coffee and Crown? That's what I'm talking about. There is not a more man pastime, right, than getting drunk and talking about war. Since the dawn of men have gone to war, come back home from the war, feasted, and gotten drunk off their ass and talked about it while they ate massive, copious amounts of meat. Yes, it is a manly thing to do. So, to bring back real men in this country, we're all just gonna start doing shit like we did back in the ancient times. We're gonna get drunk and talk about war. Let's fucking go! Oh. Shit. Man. That being said, I might have had a little bit too much to drink tonight. Shit. But, nonetheless, there won't be a stream tomorrow night. Verbal Combat. I'll be on Speakeasy's channel. Shoutouts to Speak. I'm going to talk to him tomorrow about how to fucking attach Verbal Combat to one of my featured channels on my page so that I could feature his Verbal Combat channel on my page. So that I can show it to my audience, right? Because I've slowly gotten some more people over from Facebook. Thankfully. But yeah, so I can start inviting my audience over to Verbal Combat, and then we can, really get into it, because I know some serious Coomer degens. I know the coomeriest degens, man. Shit. And to have them go up on the panel would actually be kind of funny. So, that being said, hell yeah, told stories, shot in the shit, had fun talking about kicking ass. That's what I'm talking about. For the war talk, you drank the right amount. That's what I'm talking. I mean, you can't really drink too much when talking about war, right? Well, you got He got to America safely, by the way. Hell yeah, yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Thankfully. That's fucking awesome. Let's go speak. Welcome. Welcome home, buddy. Welcome home to the U.S. We welcome you with open arms and in high regards. Fucking legend. Fucking legend. That being said, my time with y'all has come to an end. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Wherever you're at in the world, enjoy your time. Because, well, we all know that shit could be limited. You never know how much time you have left. For all we know, could be laying your head down in your pillow and then a hypersonic ICBM comes flying in and blows up your whole property. Oh shit, war's on, buddy. China engages. So, enjoy your time. While that possibility may be extremely small, it's still there. Look forward to the next one, man. Hell yeah, stay safe. Indeed, I will. And, yeah, I'm still gonna hit you guys with the outro. As for me, I will catch y'all next time. Peace.
I just wish he knew. I just wish he knew.